the Andretti F1 bid being rejected by Formula One. Not the FIA, but Formula One. Alrighty. I think we should just kind of bounce back and forth on this. I've got a few things to talk about. I got some notes here. Some copious notes, I guess you could say. For my biggest takeaways on this whole ordeal, right? We could get into depth and go through the entire laundry list of things that the Formula One committee went through to justify them not accepting Andretti, but we're not going to bore you with all of that lame, boring details here. We're going to give you our hot opinions on this.
Hey everybody, this is Thomas from the Dega Boys channel, reminding you to hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching. If you want to see more great content like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon as well to be notified of any future videos coming out. Thanks for watching. Now back to the video.
My first biggest takeaway with this Andretti denial or rejection by Formula One is what an absolute slap in the face this is to Renault, to the FIA, to France, the country France, the French people. I mean, this is absolutely embarrassing. They said that the Andretti would come into the sport and not be competitive right away, which I think is an absolute cop-out by the Formula One committee. We know that the FIA and Formula One committees have been kind of feuding as of late, and this just seems like FIA accepts Andretti, wants Andretti, gone through all this process with Andretti, and then Andretti wants to come in with GM, and GM's working on a product to come into Formula One by 2028. They're doing everything it takes to be competitive and come in at the right time. And Renault wants to supply Andretti with a power unit for their first couple of years in Formula One. And then then Formula One goes out and says, oh, they wouldn't be competitive. Andretti wouldn't be competitive if they joined. Well, you already have Renault in there building power units anyway, and they were willing to offer one to Andretti to be competitive. So what a slap in the face that was to Renault. Do you agree with that sentiment or that take? But I feel like this is, if I'm Renault, I've got to be pissed right now, like beyond belief.
I think that the whole not competitive argument is null and void because Haas. What about Williams a couple years back? You know, what about when we had Manor in here or Marussia? Or, the list goes on and on. Honda BAR. I mean, it's just asinine, the hypocrisy that was thrown around there. Now, I know they probably have this inadequate idea of expanding the sport competitively, but, I feel like it's some of the same stuff that we see with NASCAR, how they don't want to expand, and they're doing everything possible to not expand. I don't get it. And there was an argument, Jay, that it would cost a lot for the tracks to upgrade to another garage, but we are in the most rich boy club that you could be a part of in the world, other than the Illuminati. I mean, the FIA F1 group is just a big Housewives of LA show. It's just to me it doesn't make sense. I want it to make sense because I'd like a logical explanation, but I can't find it.
Yeah, and like you said with the competitive thing as well. Who was the only team that was competitive at all last year? It was one team. So you would basically have to eliminate 9 of the grid teams.
There has been 2 teams that has been consistently competitive in the past 10, 11 years. Mm-hmm. And that's Mercedes 10 years. That's been Mercedes and Red Bull. Ferrari had a run in 19, I think it was, or 18. But that was it.
Yeah, nobody else has been competitive. Not even close.
So what are we aiming at here? Really?
Yeah, it's unrealistic. The whole thing, and the disrespect to the FIA as well. Yeah. It's absolutely appalling. Like, this is something you expect from the FIA to do, not Formula One. And FIA is 100% on board with Andretti. They've been in talks with Andretti.
Yeah.
They're actually wanting Andretti to keep developing this car, and that's what they're doing right now. They're continuing to develop this car. It's crazy.
And Andretti even came out with a statement that said, we weren't even eyeing 2024. We were eyeing 2025.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? This wasn't even our application. Our application was for 2025. We have a car right now that we're building and that we're putting through the tests of the wind tunnel tests and shock tests, 7-post, whatever. But they even admitted themselves they weren't going to be ready in 2024.
Yeah, and they don't even have a power
25.
unit yet. They're in talks with Renault for a power unit, but even like I said, even if they got Renault's power unit, they're basically using the argument that Renault's not competitive. Like you're basically just telling an entire team, you're in our little elitist group, but they suck. They suck. So if you were to use their equipment, then they already suck. So you're gonna suck. Like that doesn't make any sense. If I'm Renault, I'd have a chip on my shoulder this year. I would want to go and win everything, man.
It's not just Renault either. I mean, it's GM, it's the Andretti name, it's the American flagship. It's and the US might not have a good rap when it comes to world stages, but there's still people here that care about American motorsports.
Mm-hmm.
All right, American motorsports never did anything to you.
Well, and that was my next takeaway here as well is the one that really stood with me the hardest was the fact that they said that the Andretti name, they're basically mooching off of the benefits of being in Formula One and they wouldn't be getting benefit from the Andretti name. That rubs me the wrong freaking way. And I'll tell you why. You go out into the public and talk to any Joe Blow and say, name a race car driver. I guarantee the two names you're going to hear is Earnhardt and Andretti. 100%. Those are the two they're going to say. One of the other, maybe both. Everybody knows who Andretti is. I mean, it irritates me.
But the point is that they're trying to, like, I feel like what they're trying to do is, put their hand on top of somebody's head. All right, boy, just sit down, for the American motorsports groups. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even, I don't know. I feel like it was so out of hand. It was so asinine, backwards, that even trying to create an argument against it would make you look stupid because it's stupid in itself.
Yeah, you can't argue with insanity.
And I don't like it. Like I said, I just would like a logical reason why. I want the facts. The facts. I don't want what you feel like would be better for FIA or F1 or Andretti. The facts of what can Andretti bring to a race weekend? What is the monetary value of Andretti bringing to F1, FIA? What is the monetary value of bringing money or to Andretti? What is the monetary value bringing it to the States? Obviously, we've seen a huge increase of American tracks. FIA sees something. F1 sees something with the American market. Why wouldn't you capitalize on an American team? Okay, an argument could be like, well, the last time we did that, look what happened to Haas. Okay, well, Haas also doesn't have the budget like Andretti does. All right? They've already got GM backing them. GM, the big three in North America, South America.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
And I'm glad you bring that up because that was my final takeaway on this whole ordeal. It might not look like it now, but I believe this is the beginning of a tipping point. This is the beginning of a new age in motorsports. This is the beginning of something brand new. And this is the two options I think that we see this going, right? If you look in America, what are the big four American brand names right now in motorsports? You have Ganassi, Penske, Rahal, and Andretti. Those are your big four American brand names, teams in American motorsports. They're all at IndyCar right now. IndyCar is a premier Formula racing series. Europe will tell you different, but it is. I hate to tell you that. all Europe listening right now. There's not all of you, because a lot of you guys I see that you guys appreciate for IndyCar for what it is, but it is. And the only option we have here is if these 4 teams and these 4 brands go international with IndyCar. If we see an international take on IndyCar that could rival Formula One, that is an option there. But what I most see happening, and this is where I believe this is going, is I believe with this new interest in sports car racing, the LMDH, LMH, hypercar, GTP, hybrid era in sports car racing, the intrigue with manufacturers. We have BMW, you have GM, which is the most popular brand in North and South America. You look at the numbers; it is the most powerful car brand in this side of the world. Then you also have Lamborghini jumping in, Aston Martin's trying to get in, Renault Alpine's going involved in this. They also are under the same umbrella tier as FIA, same that Formula One is under, the same sanctioning body. I see with this growing interest, especially when you have those 4 names I mentioned, Rahal, Andretti, Penske, and Ganassi, all investing in this type of racing, I see a split. I see a world contender with this type of car, these manufacturers, these names contending against the F1 in a world stage. 2-hour races, only hypercars, and an unlimited amount of grid spots. And they are going to rival Formula One. I see this happening in the next 5 years. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but I feel like that's where we're headed. I feel like that's on its way.
I feel like it would really have to depend on the state of F1 FIA, right? Because, like I said, Rich Boy Club, if the Rich Boys band and stick and band together, sorry, Penske, Ganassi, Andretti, Rahal, they're just not really part of that Rich Boy Club. But they can definitely make their own. I think a world stage is something that is needed anyways, other than F1 or WEC. Honestly, it would be awesome to see another world stage series like that, where it doesn't even have to be LMDH cars, right? It could be open wheel formula. It could be an existing car. It could be IndyCar. It could be, it could be Super Formula. It could be, I think there's a lot of options. I feel like though that if people keep getting rejected by racing organizations, and racing organizations keep suppressing teams and people, that we are going to see another series. We're going to see a split again. We're going to see the IndyCar, Champ Car sort of deal once again. And this time it's not going to be IndyCar. I smell a lot of trouble brewing in NASCAR with the whole charter deal. Mm-hmm. Garage 56 proved to be a huge success. And I'm honestly leaning towards more something like that, honestly. A hybrid Garage 56 type deal where, you could take the car on an oval, you could take the car on a road course, you can 24-hour race with it, you can sprint race with it. I mean, I agree. Something's got to give, though. Something's got to give.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see where this goes in the future. I don't know. I feel like this is the beginning of a new era. I really do. I feel like that this isn't going to go lightly. I mean, you make Mario Andretti mad, and he is, I mean, I feel like some stuff's about to change in the international worldwide stage. And I'm excited to see where this goes. I feel like it's time that these owners that have invested all this time and effort into something, I think it's their time to stand and rise over the rich boy clubs of the world. And I feel like this is where it begins. This is where the line in the sand is being drawn, and it's all going to unravel in the next few years. I see it coming. I see it happening, and I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's get away from these elitist big boy groups.
Yeah.